School days. Not talking about the tics can make people feel that they're embarrassing or that there's shame. And that process of shame, as a disabled child, young person, adult, that process of shame starts really early. I'll always remember this particular dream that I had when I was about 4.5 years of age, which was about being in a lorry with no windows either side, and I was being carted off, taken to a school for people with disabilities. In my dream, in my head, I was imagining being whisked away in a truck full of freaks. They went, "The child is a spastic child. He'll have to go to a special school." My dad said, "He's just as clever as his sister. Why does he need to go to a different school?" In the end, they put me on probation. 4.5, I was on probation. One morning in the PE lesson, the headmaster was looking into the hall. "Where's Robin?" And the teacher went, "Up there." He was hanging with one hand up the ropes. As a neurodiverse child in the 80s, I've got some very early memories of failing, teachers talking about me. I think certainly my school life, up until the age of 9 or 10, was mainly characterized by a feeling of failure. We went into the Sunshine Variety bus and they took us to the pond. They had the ducks and the swans, and they were too lazy to let us out. We literally just sat in the bus, looked at the ducks and the swans, till they took us back. I started doing this portrait of my mum and trying to get the likeness. And of course, the more you add watercolours, the muddier the painting becomes. And so the uglier and uglier this portrait became. I got very frightened because I'd been having recurring nightmares of my mother melting, of her being made of plastic and melting, and these nightmares were accompanied by a very strong sense of smell. I'd wake up with this smell of molten plastic. And I saw this happening in this painting. They experimented quite a lot at that school, and a couple of classes were given computers. I was not part of that group. I was part of a group of children that got to walk around the hall with a hula hoop round their middle, trying not to bump into each other. We visited a shopping centre once. We never went to the shops. I was getting so desperate I signed up to go to Sunday school. There was quite a lot of bullying, but there was also quite a lot of acceptance. I would come out with allegiances to God and spiritual nonsense. Also, I used to draw a lot. That was seen as further proof of me being a mental case. Because what I drew wasn't representational, it was from the imagination. And it was an expression of what I was feeling. That was another key thing that helped me to survive. I definitely started to feel like a problem, and was made to feel like a problem in school lots of the time. In those days, the English teacher always directed the school play, and I went up and said, "Mr. Slade, I want to audition for the school play." And I saw my first fearful smile from an adult. And I thought to myself, "Oh, that's weird. He's embarrassed." I did drive my chair across the gravel car park, and when they found out that I did it, they confiscated my electric wheelchair from me, put me back into a regular chair. They moved me to the junior dormitory, and they wouldn't give a time as to how long I was going to be there. And then punk happened. Of course, ideal vehicle. You go from being the school spastic to being the school punk. That is an upgrade. I'm telling you right now, it's an upgrade, because it's not about the thing that everybody thinks is negative and embarrassing, your disability, you know?